Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. This is Tommy, and I'm joined today by Dom from our retail department here at the Orlando Superstore.
Hey guys.
So today we figured we would do a video. We're in full-blown Reefapalooza preparation mode. So in essence with that, we always take care of our display tanks and make sure that they're cleaned up and fully detailed for all of our visitors and guests during the event. So what we're gonna do today is we actually so this is our 100.3 display tank in the front of the Orlando Superstore. We've done a tank on this recently when we talked about the Euphilia, but what we've actually done is we actually haven't cleaned it for about a week. And we did that because we wanted to show in just a week's time, you know, what a display tank here at the store can look like without the care that we usually give them every single day. So it's been about a week, and there's a lot of things that are immediately noticeably wrong with this aquarium. So Dom, what are some of the things that you've noticed right off the bat that, you know, are wrong with this tank right now?
Well, right off rip, you know, I haven't been coming in here every day and wiping the algae on purpose, which has been hurting my soul. So we have that obvious film algae. We also have a whole bunch of Astorina stars that we didn't really observe up until now.
Didn't even know they were there.
And of course, you know, we have this reborn media on the bottom, which is getting full of detritus, and we're seeing a little bit of algae on that as well. So we're gonna have to take care of that. And other things that most people overlook, we got algae growing in the teeth over here.
Yep.
Our nozzles are starting to get all clogged up, and our MP40 over here is looking real gnarly.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that in just a week that, I mean, it's crazy when you just let a tank go. I mean, you know, usually everybody puts a little bit of effort into their tank every day, even as far as just like either cleaning the glass or, you know, flicking off bubble algae or, you know, all just those little things that if you just kind of ignore, you know, it's really quick that, you know, it can kind of get out of control for you. So, you know, normally here at the store, I mean, we, you know, every single day, you know, obviously our full staff, we're very attentive to, you know, all those little details in an aquarium that, you know, I'm sure most hobbyists at home also kind of, you know, if you're kind of real hands-on with your aquarium, you know, you kind of usually take care of those types of things. So
we have the advantage of being here 7 days a week. You know, for about 12 hours, we have staff running around in here, so we're always focusing on making sure our displays are up to par.
Yeah, so there's, I mean, even just things that I'm sure it's been, you know, not in just a week's time, but I mean, I see some hair algae coming up here in different areas. I mean, the nozzles for the return, even those are starting to get, you know, I mean, that's pretty covered with algae. The hair algae's in the, like you said, in the teeth of the overflow there. I mean, even that's impacting your tank's ability to drain properly. So, I mean, there's just a number of things that, you know, are immediately noticeable that, you know, we definitely need to take care of in this tank.
And I'm sure we're going to run into stuff that you can't see right away.
I mean, I see an aptasia here. There's empty snail shells.
Yep.
So, I mean, normally we do, you know, like a full detail like this. I mean, we haven't even gone down here and looked at the sump yet. I mean, look at that. There's a noticeable amount of detritus building up in the sump.
On the heater. That's a big no-no.
There's, I mean, I see salt creep that's pretty bad. I mean, back on those drain pipes there. These cords are a mess. I mean, that's just something that normally, you know, I mean, normally we have it, you know, cleaned up pretty nice, but I mean, this is just a mess down here. So basically what our plan is today is we're going to do a full detail of this aquarium, you know, to our standards. You know, we actually had a sign on the tank for customers because normally, you know, we try and keep the tanks in such pristine shape that, you know, for us to let it get to this point like this is, I mean, these starfish, I mean, this is crazy. Kind of just leaving this tank alone, it seems like most of the corals have responded really well to that.
Yeah.
So that's interesting though, because that's kind of like a clue, you know, for, you know, maybe we're doing too much water changing on this system because, I mean, right now this tank the coral health of this tank looks almost the best that I've seen lately.
Yeah, the polyp extension is great. The colors look great.
I mean, these corals are so fully open and happy right now, and it's just an interesting observation that you kind of let it go. And I mean, these Euphilia are so wide open right now, it's just crazy.
A common thing people do here all the time with any kind of problem, really, algae problems, they have algae growing everywhere. They just buy a tank and expect it to clean everything up. I mean, we're gonna be the biggest predators of this tank, right?
Yeah, I mean,
So we need to get in here and remove as many as we physically can, and then we'll throw in a Harlequin to help clean up.
with that being said, we'll get right into it, and then, you know, we'll show you kind of the before and after of how this tank looks, and hope you guys enjoy seeing the tank once it's sparkling and shiny.
Hopefully it inspires you to maybe do some detailing as well. I know you need it.
All right, so this is the bucket.
The bucket.
So in the bucket is everything, or mostly everything, that we're gonna need to do the tank maintenance on this aquarium.
What we got?
So siphon, you know, this is gonna help us to siphon the detritus from the media at the bottom. So, I mean, pretty much a essential piece of equipment when you're gonna clean your aquarium. What else we got in here? We got some bone cutters. So we'll use these for trimming up anything that might need to be trimmed, cutting some of the, you know, the rock with some of the hair algae. We might have to cut some of that off.
Yep.
Got a toothbrush, so we can use the toothbrush, kind of get into the nooks and crannies of the rocks. You know, some of those maybe harder to reach places if there's anything that needs to be scrubbed. Maybe the corners, you know, the corners of the aquarium.
Overflow teeth, definitely.
Overflow teeth for sure, yep. So we got a toothbrush. We got some razor blades in here. Let's see.
Good old
here.
turkey baster.
Turkey baster, yep.
Blowing
We got
detritus off the rocks.
we got multiple turkey basters actually.
Ooh, look at that.
So yeah, these are perfect, you know, for, you know, basically you can use these and just, you know, like you just said, kind of blow off the rocks, kind of all those, you know, pockets where detritus and kind of different stuff gets trapped.
Corals are collecting it too.
You know, perfect for that. So definitely going to be using some turkey basters here. And then we got multiple scrapers. You know, these
Definitely
are
need that.
these are pretty commonly available here at the, you know, at the store. And then just with these, you always want to make sure that, like, I'm looking at it now and I'm thinking, you know, we're going to have to replace this blade before we start using it. So always just inspect whenever you're using like a, you know, a blade like this, or especially like the magnets, you know, whenever you're like magneting the front of your aquarium. Always just do a really good observation of, you know, of the surface, you know, whether it's the, you know, the felt on the magnet
That picks
cleaner.
up sand very easy.
Sand, that's
And
the biggest
especially
thing.
if you have a low iron glass tank like this one right here, it's soft. You can scratch that.
Scratch easily, yeah. So always just be very careful when you're using these and just make sure that, you know, it's free and clear of sand. That way, you know, you don't potentially scratch your aquarium. So we'll definitely be making use of that. These are just regular old magic erasers. You know, they're actually really, really helpful when you're cleaning your tank. They can kind of get into the corners real easily. Same thing, you just want to make sure, you know, no sand, or, you know, that's free and clear. You know, we usually try and start with it. You know, they're not super expensive, so we normally try to just start with, you know, some brand new ones. That way, you know that they're nice and clean.
And don't grab one from the kitchen.
Yeah. We also like to use, you know, like just a regular old squeegee, and, you know, this is just RO water in a spray bottle. This is always really nice because once you're fully done cleaning the aquarium, full detail, you can just spray the front of the aquarium with this real easily.
Get all the salt
and,
off the
you know,
glass.
make sure once it's real nice and clean, and then just squeegee the front. You know, it's a real easy, you know, fast way to just kind of, you know, finish it off at the end. So we'll just be the final touches here with the RO and the squeegee.
And of course, lots and lots of towels.
Towels, a brute trash can. I'm sure there's stuff that we're missing, but that's probably the bulk of the heavy lift in there, so. Wow, that is, yeah, they're bad.
You don't want that. When you're disconnecting your power heads, especially with the MPs, so we're gonna take this off completely, but we don't wanna alter our flow by putting it in a different spot. So I'm gonna take a marker here, and I'm just gonna mark right where it was. You can either draw a circle or just do the lines like I'm doing here. But this way, when we reattach it, it's in the exact same spot and we're not altering the flow at all. All right, so as you guys can see, we got everything shut off here. We have the protein skimmer off, our automatic top off is off, return pump, flow pump, heater. Don't forget the heater, that's a big one. So we have everything off here because we're gonna be pulling water out, and of course, you don't want your return pump running dry. You don't want your power head sucking in air, and your protein skimmer, your water level is going to fluctuate as soon as you shut the tank off. So as soon as the water level rises, your protein skimmer is going to be all out of whack and you're just pulling water out that you don't need to. and potentially getting protein skim back into the sump, which is a little counterproductive. And the reason the heater gets unplugged is that your water's not circulating anymore, so your sump could potentially overheat, and if the heater gets exposed to air, that could definitely be an electrical hazard. Yeah, look at that. That definitely needs a bath.
Dude, that's gnarly.
Oh yeah.
So that, and then the nozzles.
So now that our heater's off, we can safely remove it and clean it. So the more stuff that builds up on this, the less it's gonna be heating your aquarium, and again, another electrical hazard. It could overheat covered in all this crust and everything. So these are relatively small. There's a couple larger ones mixed in here, but they're not going to get like the size of like a Linkia star or sand sifting star that you're used to seeing. That's what makes them tricky. Get them in a little faster, especially towards the corners, just to kind of shovel them in there.
I'm sure that this probably hasn't been cleaned in quite some time. You know, they get kind of like just this buildup on them of, you know, whatever, you know, just a combination of like tube worms and just calcified, you know, whatever, and detritus and whatever. So, I mean, there's definitely quite a bit of detritus down there. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is just soak all this equipment. You know, we got the wet side of the Vortec, and the nozzles from the return are already soaking, and the skimmer, we'll do a full cleaning of the skimmer, usually at least maybe what, 2-3 times a year, once a quarter. I mean, yeah, you know, you really should do some kind of preventive maintenance. I actually just did that on my tank at home. I took the return pump out, soaked it, cleaned it real good. You know, sometimes even like filter floss from, you know, if you run filter floss, gets stuck in the impeller of the pump.
Stuff's expensive, guys. You got to take care of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like anything else, you know. I mean, you know, everyone. I mean, saltwater. I mean, it's pretty rough on equipment, you know.
Especially, you know, if you're dosing kalkwasser, that really beats on equipment too.
Yeah, I mean, this stuff is submerged 24/7 in saltwater.
Running 24/7.
You know,
doesn't have a break. We're
gonna go ahead and soak all this equipment here. Then once all this stuff is out of the sump, it'll be easier to kind of get in there.
That's a crusty Vectra.
Sure is.
So one thing that a lot of people neglect is the back wall, because most tanks now, the back wall is going to be like tinted or painted black, so it's harder to see algae. But I'm going to scrape back here, and you're going to see a whole bunch of stuff slinging off of that. Look at how cloudy it is from all that algae we've been stirring up. Take that rock out?
Honestly, I'll probably take that rock out. I'm gonna go put some new Zoas on it and bring it back.
Okay. There we go. Cleaned the teeth, we cleaned all the equipment, we vacuumed out the sump, the glass, a whole bunch of other stuff. So now, finally, I'm gonna vacuum that nasty substrate we got down there. It's a little professional way to start a siphon. And look at that. It's not as dirty as we thought it was gonna be, really. Really grown out tank like this, we got to be super careful that we're not hurting any of the corals, especially these Montes. It's got a real fragile rim that I got to be careful not to crack a piece off of that. I am going to quickly get some more water in here.
Yeah, let's replenish that. We'll do the glass one more time. Let's do the top right here.
Yep.
This like
water line.
We'll do that, and then we'll fill it back up. All right, so we just finished filling the tank back up. So we're just putting some last minute touches on it, wiping it down, polishing everything up. We're gonna spray it, we're gonna squeegee it. I'm just doing the top, the water level lines with the razor blade here. So we're just gonna finish up these last couple of things, and then we'll see you guys in a few days when everything settles back down. Thanks for watching the video, guys. We really appreciate your support, and we'd also really appreciate if you like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.